Chapter 31. Should we be worried about catching Psi V from these people? Caroline whispered. That might be a blessing, mumbled Maggie. I'd rather die than stay here as their toy. Didn't you listen to Jessie? Mackenzie said. We're probably immune. Which means so are they, Caroline said, unfortunately. The afternoon had slipped away as the women sat on the sofa, crying, whispering together, slipping into fitful jags of sleep before jerking awake. The serrated edge of terror was a constant grind against Mackenzie's nerves until she wanted to scream. She'd given up defending Jake. Maggie was convinced he was responsible for betraying them. Instead, the women had taken turns watching Leon, hoping he'd fall asleep or get distracted enough for them to overpower him. But then Mickey had returned, furious that Gemma wasn't allowing the men who'd brought the women in to enter the lottery. I don't care what else gets brought in today. Nothing is going to trump these three. She should have let us all have a turn with them first. The least she could do is include us in the lottery, he grumbled. What time does West want them downstairs? Leon asked, picking at his teeth and glancing at the women. Mackenzie stilled, the emptiness of her stomach forgotten. An hour, Mickey replied, glancing at his watch. We bothering to put them through the shower? Nah, I've got a better idea on how to fill the time. Mickey grinned, his tobacco-stained teeth flashing. This one over here owes me an apology. He stood, thrusting his thumbs through the front belt loops of his filthy jeans, eyes locked on Caroline. Okay, please, Mackenzie called out. Caroline can apologize. She's really sorry for biting you. She turned desperately to Caroline, who was mute in panic. Caroline, say sorry, she pleaded. Caroline was shaking her head in distress, her fist back in her mouth and strings of saliva streaking her chin. She's scared. She's just scared. She's not saying she's not sorry, Mackenzie babbled as Mickey walked to stand before them, rocking back on his heels with a smirk. I like the way you beg. It's real pretty, he said, his attention now on Mackenzie. She shook in revulsion as he perused her body, his eyes sliding over her as though she were already naked. But I like to settle my scores, and you're a pretty one, so you're going to take a pounding later tonight. I'll give you a break now. Horror had Mackenzie's chest squeezing painfully tight, and she tore at her jacket pocket to find her inhaler. Gasping for shallow breaths, her hand shook so hard that Maggie held the inhaler to her mouth as she sucked back frantically. Mickey reached down and grabbed Caroline by the upper arms, pulling her to her feet. She was floppy and unresponsive, immediately collapsing onto the floor. Fuck, woman, Mickey cursed. Stop. Take me instead, Maggie yelled, falling to her knees and covering Caroline's body with her own. She looked up at Mickey. I'll take her place. I don't want you, old woman, Mickey sneered with derision. Get out of my way. He kicked, his boot connecting with the side of Maggie's head. She cried out and fell to the side, allowing Mickey to drag Caroline by her hair into the middle of the room. Ever had a dick up your ass? Mickey grunted, pushing Caroline onto her stomach and straddling her thighs as he unbuckled his belt. The room came into sharp focus for Mackenzie, the cottony haze from lack of oxygen dissipating into dreadful clarity. Leon had moved closer, riveted by the scene before him, with one hand already shoved down the front of his pants. His gun lay, forgotten, on the nightstand. Mackenzie didn't think. She had the weapon in her hand before she decided to move. She noted absently her shakes had gone, her hands were steady. Mackenzie didn't even worry she wouldn't know where the safety was or how to take it off. It was easy. It was right there and gave a satisfying click, and she raised the gun right behind Leon's head, and she pulled the trigger. Easy. The blast of sound was shocking, and she faltered at the kickback. Mickey was screaming something and wrestling with the jeans around his ankles. He had a gun in his back pocket, and she knew she needed to kill him. Now, because once he had it in his hands, they were going to wish they were dead. And so she did. She raised the gun again, feeling the pull in her shoulders, and squeezed the trigger. Mickey fell backwards, his lifeless body flopping awkwardly to the floor. Seconds ticked by. Mackenzie finally lowered the gun, letting it hang loosely from her fingers. The metallic scent of blood was overwhelming, and her ears were ringing in the sudden silence. Maggie and Caroline, both still on the floor, stared at her, stunned. No one moved. Outside, a motorcycle roared by. "Fuck, fuck, fuck, fuckity fuck," Mackenzie whispered, stepping backward to sit on the edge of the bed. "I killed them." "You did good, girlie." Maggie stumbled to her feet, holding her head and wincing. "Let's get the fuck out of here," Caroline said, reaching for Mickey's gun. She was wet and sticky, wiping bloody hands futilely against her equally bloody jeans. Mackenzie nodded, resolutely not looking at the bodies of Leon or Mickey. "We have less than an hour before we're taken downstairs. We need to move quick." Caroline heaved to her feet and ran to the bathroom, where Mackenzie could hear her vomiting. She came out with a clean face and hands and lips tight with determination. They were getting the hell out of here. It was almost too easy, softly opening the door and finding an empty corridor. "Left or right?" Maggie asked. "Right." "There were stairs next to the elevator," Mackenzie replied, Leon's gun heavy in her hand. The corridor stretched before them, dotted with room doors that threatened to open and expose them at any moment. Mackenzie ran forward, reaching the elevator first and unable to stifle a scream when she saw the floor numbers lighting up as it ascended. "Hurry!" Caroline was supporting a lurching Maggie, and Mackenzie dashed back to help, practically dragging them to the fire escape doorway. The 4th floor lit up on the elevator. The fire door was heavy, and for a moment, Mackenzie panicked that it was locked. When it grudgingly opened, she pushed Caroline and Maggie through, following so hard on their heels, both of them stumbled. The door was swinging closed, the strut mechanism slowing its movement until Mackenzie yanked on the handle. It hadn't latched properly when she heard the terrifying ding of the elevator reaching their level. "Oh God, oh God, oh God." The 3 of them froze, soundless, expecting the door to burst open. Nothing. "Quick, quick." Mackenzie hustled them, ducking beneath Maggie's other shoulder. But they couldn't fit 3 abreast down the stairwell, and she paused, unsure if she should lead the way or protect their rear. A flash of doubt had her focus wavering. What did she think she was doing? She was going to get them all killed, or worse. "Girlie, get moving," Maggie hissed, pushing her forward. "Don't lose it now. We need you." It was enough to clear her indecision. She leaped forward, gun raised. The slap of their feet descending the stairs was unbearably loud. Level 4, level 3, level 2. They paused. "Let's stop on level 1 and see if there's a service elevator," Mackenzie said. "If we keep going down these stairs, we'll end up in the lobby, right?" "Exactly where we don't want to be," agreed Caroline. They rushed the last level of stairs, listening at the fire door for any sound beyond. "I think I should go out," Mackenzie stated. "I've got the gun, and if I get caught, they'll only have me and not all of us." "What? No," Caroline protested. "Just let me find where the service elevator is and make sure there's no one around," Mackenzie insisted. And then, not waiting for their reply, she pushed the door open cautiously and slipped through. It snicked closed, and she was alone. Adrenaline spiked her throbbing heart, and she scanned left and right, searching for a telltale exit sign. Nothing. She ran to the very end of the corridor, terrified at every moment of discovery. It finished with a wall of glass overlooking the street outside. No service elevator. Mackenzie remembered a nightmare from her childhood, where she was trapped in an endless maze with no hope of escape, and despair threatened to swamp her. Retracing her steps, she reached for the fire door when she noticed an unobtrusive door beside it, with a small service sign. "Oh God," she gasped, pulling it open to reveal a second set of elevators. "Oh God, thank you." She flung open the fire door to a cowering Caroline and Maggie, who followed her without question to the service elevator. "Kitchen?" Her finger hovered over the control panel of buttons. Laundry, Maggie said. They'll be using the kitchen, but I'll wager they haven't set foot in the laundry. Mackenzie's stomach dropped along with the elevator. What if there was no exit from the laundry? She hated that there was only one way to find out.